Netflix was expecting around 2.7 million subs yesterday after earnings. They reported a loss of 200,000. That's a swing of about 2.7 million subs that went in the other direction. For the next quarter, Q2 2022, they are expecting to lose an additional 2 million subs. They cited a lot of reasons for this, but the number one reason was increased competition. Justin, let's start off with you. Has Netflix's growth peaked?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we've been talking about for a long time at ROI Club, and I think Tom and I have been talking about it together more recently. Everyone anecdotally that has a Netflix subscription, that would have a Netflix subscription, probably has one in some form or another. And if you ask around, right, the people that don't, they're either the people that don't watch TV, or they prefer only watching YouTube, or they're like very into just cinema and they only, rent movies. You know what I mean? So it anecdotally, at least in the US, it's been very penetrated for a while. But I mean, the biggest question was international expansion, et cetera. But when you have that many subscribers, all sharing accounts, you're basically approaching your total addressable market. I mean, we see the same thing, a similar thing that's happening and going to happen with Spotify as they approach the end of their S-curve. They are they are asymptotal to the total addressable market. And another thing that is maybe not asymptotal, but I would say, just to want to call out that if not for Russia, where they lost 700 million subscribers, they would actually have grown 500,000, right? But that is still 2 million under what that people were expecting. And the 2 million loss, yeah, I think there are just so many options: Disney Plus, HBO Max, etc., YouTube TV. So I think that they are approaching just slow growth, and we should treat them as such. And Tom and I have been saying this for a while.
Tom, Justin says that Netflix is asymptotal. Why do you think they got their ass handed to them?
I think ass in total is a good description of where Netflix is at. So definitely ass in total. But on a serious note, I mean, look, you can't maintain the number one spot at the top of the hill when what you're peddling is pretty much the same what everybody other in the category is selling. Definitely not when what you have is less. So I can tell you as a parent, I absolutely cannot get off Disney Plus. I mean, my kids would just literally kill me. It's impossible for me to disconnect from Disney Plus. I can definitely live without Netflix in its current configuration. They're no longer the only horse in the game, right? They're no longer the place where you go to watch everything, because every single other network have their own streaming service and they don't share as much anymore. So they've kind of become the place where you go to watch Netflix originals, and they're not that bad, but unfortunately they're so expensive to make, ridiculously expensive, that it's a losing model. Netflix is basically subsidizing these pieces of content that don't make money for growth. And at some point, this was bound to happen. They were bound to hit the wall where you just can't grow enough. Content isn't making money. Now, the problem is where they, I think, made the strategic mistake is when you actually go after password sharing, you're basically killing off your only advantage in the market. Like, look, $20 per month for Netflix among the sea of other stuff that you're paying for streaming is a lot. Now, if you don't have an edge, it's really tough to justify that expense. And now you're basically just saying, hey, you two dudes who share the password, now it's not going to cost you $10, it's going to cost you 20. That starts a whole mental process of me thinking, well, do I really want to spend $20 on that or not? So I think the password sharing was a strategic mistake. They're going to pay dearly for that.
Mm. And I just want to ask, Tom, you're not watching Anatomy of a Scandal, The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On, Bridgerton? Why not? Married at First Sight? Are you not watching these things? All jokes aside, I know you're not, Tom. I'm not either.
They have good shows. They have good shows on Netflix.
They do, but they're also like different, right? They don't have the strength of like Game of Thrones, right? They need to hit these gigantic hits, right?
They don't have The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And they don't have the new Disney movie for kids. I forgot the name. Something with Red. My kids didn't want to watch that.
Yeah.
And so they don't have anything that's like a must watch right now. And even though the thing they did with Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Gosling, not Ryan Gosling, forgot his name, the other Ryan, Ryan Pineda. No, what was his name?
Anyway,
Ryan Panetta is a real estate
Yeah.
YouTuber.
No, I know. I
content.
forgot the name. What's the name of the funny guy? The guy that did the no, I
Reynolds.
forgot the name. Yes. So they did a original production, which was really fun to watch and a decent movie and enjoyable. But the amount of money they spend on this content versus how much I think they got out of it is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the
They're like-
spending is surprising, right? You're making a like their number 2 show is The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On, yet they keep spending so much money. I agree with you there, Tom.
But you know what I found funny, Justin? It's like we got all of these highly skilled, very professional Wall Street sell side analysts, and I'll call them analysts because that's what they are, too busy doing, God knows what, then to see, hey, pandemic is over, streaming service is getting crowded, it's getting oversaturated, and Netflix is just slowly becoming like a content creation company, no longer an aggregation company at ridiculous, unjustifiable costs. I wonder if the price should have been reduced a long time ago.
Yeah, and I just want to say something, 2 things real quick. So I guess I misused the word. It's not asymptotal, it's asymptotic. FYI.
I love asymptotal, bro.
Yeah, asymptotal.
Asymptotal.
So that's approaching,
Netflix,
like a limit,
asymptotal.
right? And secondly, I think like they do have some growth strategies. Reed Hastings is a GOAT, right? He is a GOAT.
He's good.
And,
Reed Hastings is a goat.
But I don't think, like, as a gamer, Tom, you and I both know that they're not going to succeed in their gaming thing, right? Versus Xbox Game Pass and even PlayStation. And
PS Now,
yeah, like
what?
I don't see where the growth is coming from. They're still trading at like 20 times EBITDA. So you can buy Google for the mid-teens or low teens EBITDA right now. So I just don't see it.
The only good thing that happened with Netflix is that Piper Sandler actually downgraded them. If Piper Sandler downgrade you, that means you're about to do really, really well statistically. So at least they have a Piper Sandler downgrade.
Cool. That leads us into, I think it leads us into the next topic.